DFA Liberty Media.
DFA Liberty Media.
It's never been more relevant than today.
This is probably the most relevant episode to it ever, quite honestly. We're in what, episode 48? And this might be the most relevant DFA Liberty Media's ever been.
We've been saying it all along. This is an episode that we never wanted to make, but here we are.
Here we are.
However, there's some things to be excited about. Matt Olson, just in case you haven't heard, is an Atlanta Brave.
He is an Atlanta Brave.
If this is your first time hearing about this, then we're glad that you're here.
We are glad you're here.
But this is probably coming as a shock to you, and it's a shock to us. But it happened a couple hours ago. And I still don't have my head completely wrapped around it, but how are you feeling?
It's hard to really, like, when Jeff passed, and I saw the tweet, but I wasn't I thought it might have been like one of those fake accounts. And I was at first, and I was like, there's no way. And listen, I understand the sentimental part of this. It sucks for every Braves fan out there. Trust me, we're all in this. It sucks. It stings down to my core of my heart. Trust me, we're all in this. But there, like you said, there's things to be excited about with this. It is obviously the money aspect of it is great, but people are going to bash Alex Anthopoulos for no reason, because the reality is he couldn't go out and spend $220 million on Freddie Freeman. Liberty Media was not going to give him that type of money, and that's the sad reality. But I mean, I think a top 3 first baseman in the league is a solid replacement. So
top 2, in my opinion.
Top 2. I would agree with that. I mean,
I think stats are so good.
If you can't get the first best first baseman in baseball, I mean, the second one's not that bad either. So
Matt Olson last year, nearly a 6 WAR, 39 bombs, 111 RBIs, 271 average, 153 OPS plus, 911 OPS, 540 slugging, 371 on base. This guy is a star player, 100%.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be. He went to Parkview High School. If you didn't know, Atlanta guy, grew up in Atlanta, same high school as Jeff Francoeur, so he knows the area very well. It's almost hard to. I've always loved Matt Olson. I've known about Matt Olson since he was in high school, and when he got drafted, and I've always loved the guy, and I'm really excited. I know I don't sound like sad that Freddie's gone. I am. Don't get it twisted. I truly am. Like, when it first came out, I was really sad, but it's happy. It's a happy day and it's a sad day at the same time. So It's hard to really understand the emotions going through every Braves fan's head right now, really. So
yeah, I was really upset the first time I saw this. I was driving and I saw the text from you, and then don't come after me, but I checked Twitter while I was driving, and I saw it, and I just saw like the first couple words. I was just like, oh, it's this. But the more I think about it, the more I like it. Like, I see a lot of positives in this trade.
Yes.
Let's talk about what we gave up real quick. We gave up Christian Pache, Jay Langoliers, Ryan Cusick, and Joey Estes. Pache, the biggest, or in terms of the pipeline, I think Pache is a top prospect in the Braves organization.
He is the top prospect. I don't know exactly what number he is overall, but I know he's
or is he second best?
No, okay. He's number 1. It's
okay.
Pache,
Harris, and Langoliers.
Yeah. So or no, maybe it's Waters and then Langoliers.
No, Waters dropped out of the top 100.
Oh, did he?
He did.
Well, then regardless, yes, Pache as well.
So we just gave up 2 top 100 prospects, 2 of our top prospects in the organization, in a farm system that is already kind of weak.
Yeah.
So that, and in terms of that, I don't like it, but I think the talent that we have currently at the major league level is enough to win games. But what I'm really worried about is what's the team chemistry going to be like next year?
I think we talked about this before we even started recording, but who's going to be that Freddie Freeman guy, the guy that takes that leadership role? Obviously, you got Charlie Morton, who's probably going to be was one of them last year and will continue to be that. But who's going to be the guy that steps up, in this year and in the future years? Is it, does Matt Olson come in immediately and be that guy? Probably not. There's a possibility, but is it Ozzy? Is it Dansby, Austin Riley? That is going to be my really key thing. Is Freddie Freeman was the glue to this clubhouse, and he's been the glue to that clubhouse forever. It was Chipper, and then he let that go down to Freddie, and those have been the two guys for the past, 25, 30 years that have really led the clubhouse for that Braves team. And I think it'll be really interesting to see who that guy that steps up will be. So I hope, I would love for it to be Olson, but obviously coming into a new team, you don't know a lot of guys. I would be interested to see how he adapts to that. So
I think that being in his hometown is going to help him out probably, but of course coming into, a clubhouse and a fan base that is kind of in shock right now, I think that's probably going to be tough, especially he's got big shoes to fill and he's not going to fill them perfectly. Yeah. But he can't try to come over here and replace Freddie Freeman. He's got to be Matt Olson.
Yeah, exactly. 100% agree with that.
And if he just stays like true to himself, he doesn't let all the distractions affect him. I think that the Braves are definitely 100% going to try to extend Matt Olson, who in my opinion I don't think is going to be nearly as expensive as Freddie Freeman is right now.
I think that's one of the great things about this trade is he's got 2 years until he's eligible to get an extension, obviously when his contract's up, and he won't be nearly as much money. It'll probably be, I don't know exactly how much he'll get per year, but it won't be in the 200s. I can guarantee you that. So from a money perspective, as we said, you can't be mad about it. You cannot be mad about
getting Matt Olson.
You cannot, from a baseball perspective, you can't be mad at this.
But you can be mad at losing Freddie Freeman, but you can't be mad at Matt Olson.
Yes, you can't. I know people are gonna, they're gonna put a lot of pressure on Matt Olson because, he's not Freddie Freeman, he's Matt Olson, and they're gonna put a lot of pressure on that. But I think he's gonna go out and perform, and he's gonna be the guy that I think Freddie Freeman was, and obviously he's not going to be Freddie Freeman, but he's going to produce, and I'm excited for this offense this year. I truly am. How good this offense is going to be if you bring back, Soler or Eddie Rosario or even both. I don't know what Alex Anthopoulos has planned left until the regular season starts, but I truly am excited, and you should be too.
So yeah, we got to welcome Matt Olson with open arms. I think it's because losing Freddie Freeman is obviously not his fault. He's the second best first baseman in baseball. So obviously, there's nothing that he can do about it. So we just got to welcome him. Opening day, home. So we're opening up the season at home. And I expect first at bat we got to give him a standing ovation. We got to give him a warm Atlanta welcome. He's coming home. As painful as it is to be like, oh, Freddie Freeman's not coming back. Well, also let's address the fact that people are throwing it out there that maybe we can get Freddie Freeman come back and have Matt Olson DH. That's not happening.
That's
It's
not
not
happening.
happening.
If you did see Alex Anthopoulos' press conference about an hour ago or so, you could tell by his, reaction, his voice, do what you want with that video. But I mean, that was the best thing he could do. And I think getting the second best first baseman in baseball is a pretty dang good thing to do if you're going to lose the first best first baseman in baseball. So,
I think eventually he had to make a very tough decision. He said it was the toughest thing he's ever done.
yeah.
And you could tell by his voice that it was. We're losing Freddie Freeman, a franchise player, and you could tell, or else Alex Anthopoulos wouldn't have gotten so emotional. So it's a sad day. I get it, but it's also a new beginning for the Atlanta Braves. The Freddie Freeman era, since 2010. Even though in 2010 he was kind of platooning with Troy Gloss and Derek Lee. That even though he wasn't maybe like the face of the franchise back in 2010, starting in 2011, he became that everyday first baseman, and he's never looked back.
Yeah. And
so
I want to say this. I understand if he goes to LA, he goes to the Dodgers, it's going to be tough for everybody in this, in the circle of the Braves and every fan. But he's probably going to get booed when he comes back. That's just the fact of the matter. If he goes to the Dodgers, he's probably going to get booed. I will not be that person. I love Freddie. I will forever love Freddie, regardless of where he goes. And, at the end of the day, it's all business. It sucks as a fan and as a guy that you and me have both followed this team for ever. And Freddie's been that guy. Freddie and Chipper were those two guys. And, but like I said, it's the start of a new beginning, and I'm really excited. So,
I mean, there's a lot of things to be excited about, but of course, losing Freddie Freeman is such a, it's such a loss for us, but it's also, I think the toughest part is going to be, seeing wherever Freddie lands, what uniform he puts on. And if it's a Dodgers uniform, that's like that's probably going to be the most painful thing
that's going to be
ever as a fan. Because that's like a worst nightmare for us. But I hope he either goes to like the Yankees, Rays, Blue Jays. I know those are all three in the
I
AL
never
East,
thought I'd want somebody so sentimental to me to sign with the Yankees, but
anyone but LA,
anybody but he could go to the Angels, and I would love that.
Or Mets. Don't go to the Mets either.
Actually,
of course,
I don't know. I guess definitely not the Mets, but
just out anywhere but bang my knee. I don't know if you heard that.
I heard
it. But anywhere but the Dodgers or the NL East would be great, but obviously LA is the favorite. Especially, Atlanta was the favorite. Now we're not. And
for all we know, we could break the news in like 10 minutes. For all we know, it might break while we're recording right now. We don't know. But
we just don't know. And there's a lot happening around Major League Baseball, but we're going to hold off on a lot of it until probably the next time we record, because this is just such a big deal. But Matt Olson, I really he could really help this organization out a lot. He has a great glove as well. That's something that part of this game that gets overlooked a lot is Gold Glove first baseman. Has he won a gold? Did he win Gold Glove?
I believe
twice.
Isn't he a platinum gold or platinum winner too?
I'm not sure, but he's two-time Gold Glove winner in 2018 and 2019. Got MVP votes last year and in 2019. And he was a first-time All-Star last year, which is kind of surprising considering he's a perennial. He should be a perennial All-Star. 2019 and 2018, he both in both seasons he really played very well. And in 2019, he 36 games, or not 36 games, 36 home runs in only 127 games. 91 RBIs, 127 games. Like that's a small sample size to hit 36 bombs.
Yeah.
And in 2021, you saw his strikeout rate go down. You saw his walk rate go up. He set a career high in on-base percentage by a good 20 points. And set a career high in for a full season at least in OPS and OPS plus. There's so much to look forward to here with Matt Olson. Of course, it's very tough, but I think it's for the better. And what this also leaves for the Braves is that we have a lot of money that we can use to fill in other positions that we might need.
Yeah. Not just this year too, and next year's free agency. I think this sets up very nicely for the future. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna sting. It stings really bad right now. We understand, trust me. But the future is very bright for this organization, and the future is very bright for Matt Olson.
The future is bright. It's a new beginning. It's the start of a brand new era in Braves baseball. And, I get it. There's going to be a lot of people that will not get over this.
Yeah.
At least for a very long time. Some people might go to the grave with just with this grudge against the Braves organization for letting this happen. I mean, I might be one of those people, but, I'm not excited. You can tell probably by my voice. I have no enthusiasm whatsoever, but I'm trying to look on the bright side a little bit. It's hard to really talk about this. It's hard to, make a podcast, especially 2 hours after this happened. But
I mean, you can definitely hear it in our. I don't know if you can hear this, but you can hear it in our voices that it's hard to talk about this because this is not something we wanted to do. This is not a podcast we wanted to ever make. The only podcast about Freddie leaving we wanted to make was when he retires, which would be in like 10 years. So if we're even doing this in 10 years, hopefully so, but you never know. And that was the only podcast we ever wanted to make about Freddie leaving, but
here we are. I mean, we're not in control of what happens with the Atlanta Braves. We're just
don't
here
get mad at us.
Yeah, don't get mad at us.
Don't come emailing us about why we didn't sign Freddie, because it's not my fault. Go email the
Liberty Media dudes.
Go talk to Liberty Media. Go to their headquarters and start a protest or something. I don't know.
It's. I hate it for Alex Anthopoulos too. You could tell how much he cared. It's like his press conference got emotional. And he couldn't disclose a lot of information because, he never does. And there are some rules that say like he can't disclose certain information and, he couldn't answer some questions. But I think that long term, the Braves, this is going to help them out a lot, especially with how much money we have been able to free up now that we don't have a lot of money dedicated just to our first baseman. Now we have a first baseman potentially, at least for like the next 2 years, that we don't have to pay very much. He's Matt Olson is under team control for another 2 years. He's arbitration eligible, and then beyond that, it is pretty uncertain. But I assume if he performs very well this year, that we'll try to extend him.
Oh, 100%. And
which I mean, we're not going to make that same mistake of not extending our first baseman twice. Hopefully, I mean, hopefully we learned from the last time.
I really, truly hope Matt Olson is here for the long term, and he's like you said, he's an Atlanta guy, and I know I assume, I don't know if he grew up a Braves fan or not. He's in the Atlanta area. I assume he did, but I'm sure he's happy to come home and be here, and don't make him feel like he shouldn't be home, because he does. He deserves the cheers that you guys all gave Freddie. So
Mhm.
don't get it twisted. So
Of course, I mean, if you go to Truist Park, it's going to be very odd not hearing the first baseman number 5. That's going to be really
yeah,
tough when you go to a
it'll be
game and not
first
hear
baseman
that.
number 28, Matt Olson, I assume.
We
I
have
guess
we don't know much about Matt Olson and his
number yet.
all that
Yeah.
information yet, but um, of course, just don't go to L.A., Freddie. That would break our hearts. I mean, it's
Anywhere else,
our hearts already broken, but
you could go to I don't know, the Rockies for all I care.
that would actually be so sick. If we went to, but there, let's talk a little bit more what this means future-wise for the Atlanta Braves. Let's talk about some of the prospects that we gave up. Christian Pache, I don't think that at least for the immediate future, we don't really have a spot for him, especially where we want to be.
Yeah.
Which is a World Series contender year after year after year. Of course, the saying is defense wins championships, but yeah, that's like football and basketball. That's not baseball. It's it's I mean, you gotta score runs.
You gotta score. Just ask the New York Mets.
Ask the Mets. They know
Ask the
darn well.
Mets. You need to score runs before anything. I mean, you can have great pitching and still finish under 500s and defense. So
Pache has just not proved enough with the bat. I mean, it's he's a wizard defensively, but he has so much trade value. He's so young, and I don't like. It's time to try to get someone.
I know this is probably going to be a hot take, maybe a little bit, but I truly think Michael Harris is going to be a better outfielder than Christian Pache in the long term. I think you look at how it's set up. I think Michael Harris has the better bat. He might not be obviously a defensive wizard such as Christian Pache. That's what Pache is known for. That's what he came up for. But I think Michael Harris, and I mean, depending on what happens with Drew Waters, and then you got Ronald Acuna, it's, it sets up very nicely. It sucks. I know Pache is the number 1 prospect in the Braves farm system. Sorry, excuse me. But it's very hard to say giving up the top prospect is easy to do because it's not.
So I'm not too upset about losing Pache. Obviously, he's very upset that he's going to Oakland A's.
I saw that.
If you've seen those, that's all. Those tweets.
Twitter's fast. Twitter's very fast to make
memes out of things.
Yeah.
So let me get the full thing from Pache about leaving. That was just like the first 2 sentences I was referring to. I actually just followed Christian Pache just yesterday on Twitter because he was just tweeting out.
So you're saying it's your fault that he got traded?
Yeah, it's my fault. We got the second best first baseman in baseball. So this is what Christian Pache had to say. My heart is broken. I just found out that I was traded to the A's. I'll just stop it right there. I know that's the way this business works, but I want Braves fans to know that I will be eternally grateful to him wherever he goes.
Yeah, and
thank you for so much support, for so much love, and for being so special to me.
Yeah, and I do truly, we both truly wish him the best. I think I hope he has a great career. I mean, if he stays in Oakland or wherever he goes in his future, and same with Shea Langoliers. That's the second guy that was in the trade, and this is the one that
most people are just like,
this is the one that it was like brutal. Like this one's gonna hurt because catchers nowadays are very few and far between on how good they are, and Shea Langoliers was probably one of the best catching prospects not named Adley Rutschman in baseball, potentially, possibly. So He's really good defensively. He's got really good pop. So this one's gonna sting. Will William Contreras step up and be that guy in the future? Possibly. Obviously, we got Travis d'Arnaud for another 2 years, and as well as Manny Pena. So, what the future at catcher holds, we have no clue. But along with, we wish Shea the best.
Mm-hmm. This one I think is going to be the one that kind of hurts the Braves the most, because everyone was thinking that this is our catcher for the future, and not anymore. Last year, he played a little bit in Gwinnett, but mainly Mississippi. But in Gwinnett, he was 2 for 11 with 2 double. Both hits were doubles and an RBI, so not much of a sample size in Gwinnett. But with Mississippi, a 258 average, 836 OPS, which is really, really good for a catcher. 22 home runs in 92 games, 329 at bats. Not many. Did not have many walks, and struck out quite a bit. But overall, I think that this is probably going to be the piece that really hurts the Braves the most long term, but the pitchers as well, I think.
Yeah. And Ryan, the third guy, obviously in the trade. I don't know how you say his last name. Do you know? Ryan
Cusick.
Cusick. He was the Braves' first round pick,
I believe,
this last year, correct? Like in July.
Well, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So, flamethrower. He gets up to 102 miles an hour, and where he was going to play, was he going to be a bullpen guy? Was he going to be a starter? We may never know. Obviously, from the Braves perspective, we'll never know. But this one's gonna hurt, and somebody just something.
Wow.
Somebody
so Jesse Winker to the Mariners. Talk about that in the next episode.
Dang.
That literally just broke.
That literally broke. What was that?
Like 2 seconds
22 seconds ago. As we're recording.
Interesting. But Ryan Cusick, out of Wake Forest University, was the Braves' #1 choice this year in the draft. And small sample size and in the minors so far. He only pitched in Augusta for the Green Jackets. 270 or 2.76 ERA in 16 1/3 innings. I'm going to go put my phone down because it's going to be about Jesse Winker for the next 10 minutes. But here's the one thing that's kind of mind-blowing about Ryan Cusick. In those 16 1/3 innings, he struck out 34 hitters in 16 innings. A's are getting a really good one in Ryan Cusick. This one is going to be tough, but obviously small sample size, but still, like 34 strikeouts in 16 innings is unheard of.
I wonder. I truly do wonder if Alex Anthopoulos try to get a guy like Frankie Montas or Sean Manaea out of this trade as well, because of the haul. I wonder if the A's were reluctant, because obviously it's clear that, we kind of made a push for Justin Verlander a little bit, and it's clear that Alex Anthopoulos still wants pitching. So I wonder if, I wonder what Braves fans would think of it if we did get a pitcher out of this, like Sean Manaea or Frankie Montas. If that would then maybe be like, okay, we got the second best first baseman in baseball, and then plus a solid rotation guy. We'll never know. But I wonder if that was ever, a possibility in Alex Anthopoulos' mind.
The Mariners also got Eugenio Suarez in that deal. It's very interesting. I mean,
that is a weird trade.
That is a very weird trade. The
Reds are just a mess.
The Mariners are, they have such a good farm system. It'll be interesting to see who they give up in that. But the final guy that the Braves gave up in this trade is Joey Estes, and a lot of people may not be familiar with Joey Estes. He's actually been a follower of mine for a while. But he went off in the minor leagues last year. He's only 20 years old, October 8th, 2001. He's actually younger than us, which is just kind of wild.
No,
to say.
no, he's not. Oh wait, October. Sorry, I'm my bad. Yeah, he is younger than us.
But last year, uh,
These
if
Freddie
you
things
really
got me messed up.
if you really care about win loss, he was 3-6, but with a 2.91 ERA, 99 innings, struck out 127 hitters, only 29 walks, really limited the walks compared to his strikeout numbers. 11 and a half strikeouts per 9 innings, strikeout to walk ratio at 4.38. It didn't give up a lot of hits either. A whip of 0.96 last year for Augusta. He was there all season, 20 starts. I mean, even though people may not be too familiar with Joey Estes, he really went off last year. And this was a guy that I was excited to talk about for the future of the Atlanta Braves because, look at the stats last year. They were really, really good. But, the Athletics kind of fleeced us.
Yeah.
But
we knew it was going to be a haul. It was we knew that from the beginning. I think regardless of where Matt Olson went, it was going to be a haul, and it just happened to be us. Just because Liberty Media didn't want to pay Freddie Freeman. It's a dang shame.
So it all comes back to Liberty Media. And we've been trying to warn everyone that this might have been that Liberty Media is there's literally no reason why the Braves shouldn't have gotten Freddie Freeman back, but the reason why we didn't is because of Liberty Media. And Alex Anthopoulos is a fantastic general manager. He did what he could. But Liberty Media wasn't willing to, sign Freddie to as many years that he wanted or for as much money as Freddie wanted, which Freddie has the right to want more money. But, it also leads to a lot of what ifs. Like, what if the lockout didn't happen? Would the Braves have Freddie Freeman right now? We just don't know. Possibly. But, everything's happening in such a hurry right now with spring training starting up and players have now reported to spring training. It's a very tough situation. And I feel for everyone out there who's kind of heartbroken at this. I know I'm one of you. But Matt Olson is a hometown kid who's going to do great things for this franchise. He's going to eat the chop house alive. He's going to be hitting bombs into the battery. It's going to be fun to watch.
It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And
may I mention, I think Matt Olson has my favorite swing in all of baseball.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's so smooth.
When he hits a home run, and I don't know if for those of you who either don't watch the A's or you're just kind of a Braves fan and you just don't watch any other baseball, get used to watching Matt Olson because it is truly a lot of fun to watch Matt Olson play baseball, and he's gonna be stud.
And you may remember him from a few years ago. He broke up Mike Foltynevich's no-hitter in the 9th inning with a bomb. But
we'll forgive him.
We'll forgive him for that. But
for the time being, we'll forgive him.
But it's an exciting new beginning for the Atlanta Braves. I know we did give up a haul, but honestly, I think that long term this is going to be a good thing for the Braves, and it really opens doors that we can now add. We saved, $180-200 million by not paying Freddie Freeman. Instead, we gave up our entire farm system. So,
it's kind of like a win-lose situation there.
It is a win-lose situation.
There's no we win, but we also lose, and then we kind of lost again too because we don't get Freddie back. So it's really a win-lose-lose,
if you will.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, we know how upset everyone is, and I completely understand it. It'll be interesting to see what Freddie Freeman's ovation in Atlanta is going to be wherever he winds up. I know that if he goes anywhere except LA or the Mets or anyone in that NL East, I'll probably cheer for him. But if he goes to the Dodgers, heck no. I'm sorry, I can't do that for a Dodger. I can't. I'm sorry. But
I might not cheer for him, but I'm not gonna boo him. I don't have it in me to boo Freddie Freeman. Especially with the World Series he gave us.
Yeah, I think Foolish Baseball, who's a great baseball YouTuber, and he's a Braves fan. He has a lot of good takes. I retweeted something from him earlier. I think he summed it up very well, in my opinion. Freddie Freeman won the World Series as an Atlanta Brave. That's mission accomplished, in my opinion. Matt Olson definitely keeps the train rolling. I could that. And then he went on to say, Freddie Freeman, you are a Dodger. So that I can agree with the first part, not the second.
Yeah.
But the Braves can go out, fix the outfield, go get pitching, starting pitching, fix up the bullpen a little bit, and it'll be. Of course, you won't have that core leadership that you've had for years and years. And you got to find that from someone.
Yeah.
But so it'll be interesting to see how the clubhouse chemistry is after this is all said and done. But I think the general mood in the clubhouse, even without Freddie Freeman there the last couple of days, from what I've heard, it's pretty good. So
yeah, I mean, I know these guys, all those guys, Dansby, Ozzy, Ronald, Austin, everybody else, they all gel really well together. Obviously, you're not going to have the glue, as we've said, Freddie Freeman, but I really think the chemistry, I truly believe will be fine. I think it's going to be about who's the true glue player. And I know that kind of doesn't make any sense from if you're like, but there needs to be a glue player. And if that is Matt Olson, I hope it is Matt Olson, because, Braves fans deserve Matt Olson deserves the respect from Braves fans that he should get. So
to sum it all up, it is a sad day, but there's also a lot of things to be excited for. And I think we've kind of said that like 7 times so far, but
yeah, at least.
We just want everyone to know it's a sad day.
Yes.
We want to emphasize it. But at least we got Chadwick Trump.
Vax. Big signing.
That is the only other thing that the Braves have done so far the last couple of days is sign Chadwick Trump to a minor league deal.
Yeah. I expect more,
Of course, with all the money that we have now.
Yeah, especially with the money we have now, Alex is certainly still looking. There's a reason. I think I don't know how many times I've said this. There's a reason he's one of, if not the best GM in baseball. You saw what he did at the deadline. You guys have to have trust in Alex Anthopoulos. It is not. Don't put this on Alex Anthopoulos. Don't go bashing Alex Anthopoulos, because he is doing what he can. And that's just the truth. If you don't want to believe it, so be it, but that is the truth.
And here we are. It's March 14th. It's Pi Day, and the Braves will not have Freddie Freeman. We can say with pretty much full confidence.
Yeah. And, it was maybe a possibility, but then you saw the press conference with Alex Anthopoulos. It's not. It's I mean, people kind of had hope, but I personally, as soon as I saw that, I knew that was the end. And it's the worst feeling ever. It truly sucks, because I've had that Freddie Freeman jersey that I have was the first ever jersey I bought. It was the first Braves jersey I bought. I do not have a Chipper Jones jersey. And Freddie was, Freddie, I guess, I know Chipper is technically is our era, but Freddie is truly when I started keeping the Braves, like, we started this podcast. You started Braves News 101 in 2014. So Freddie Freeman was our guy. He was our Chipper Jones of, our prime years of Braves baseball, and he's no longer with us, and it's going to sting for a long time, quite possibly forever, but I don't really know what else to say. It's
now the longest current tenured Brave, I believe, is it Dansby Swanson?
Yes.
Or Luke
It's
Jackson.
Luke Jackson or Dansby Swanson, one of the two.
I think it's between one of those two, but which is kind of wild to think about. I was not really expecting. I really was expecting Freddie Freeman to come back, especially since a lot of people were throwing around the video of his interview after the World Series, where Frank Thomas asked him if he wanted to come back home to Atlanta, and he said, "Of course, I think everyone out there knows where my heart is." Some along those lines, and I would really want to know how is Freddie Freeman feeling about this? Is he regretting not taking the cheap deal? Or,
I mean,
I
he's
don't
gonna
know.
he's gonna get a bag from wherever he goes, but is it gonna be the same? We're biased, but Braves fans are 1,000 times better than Dodgers fans, and between the respect they have for people, and it truly is. Braves fans are some of the best in baseball, and Dodgers fans, while they have a great fan base and they have a deep fan base, it might not be the most respectable, in my opinion. That's
they're the least respectable, in my opinion. And it's also like, people outside of Atlanta think that Braves fans are bad, but you're going to have a lot of bad ones, especially when you have a fan base that spans across what, 5 or 6 states, maybe more. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, but Los Angeles, they don't even they share a team with they share the city with another team, so it's not like their fan base is as widespread unless you have a ton of bandwagons, which they do.
They definitely do.
And that's the part that I'm,
that's what's gonna sting, because if Freddie signs with the Dodgers, that they're and blah 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 blah. You're just never gonna hear the end of it. That's what really even makes it even worse, is if he signs with the Dodgers, you're just never gonna hear the end of it from Dodgers fans. Mm-hmm. It's gonna go on until the end of time. So
it's going to be a brand new look for the Braves next year, and it's kind of, in a sense, that kind of excites me. Like, this is a Braves team that, we haven't seen anything like this team that we're about to put out there on opening day since 2010, 2011.
Yeah.
Because you don't have that core player that, you've had forever. I mean, same thing opening day in 2013 without Chipper Jones. It kind of feels like that, but of course, Freddie Freeman's not 40 years old. So it's, knowing that Freddie Freeman we're going to have to play against Freddie
Freeman should just retire. Retire Brave.
That's also an option.
He should just retire. Just be like, all right, I'm done. Hanging it up. Then he truly will retire Brave.
I kind of felt the same way when Brian McCann signed with the Yankees. I loved watching Brian McCann for many years, and I had a poster of him in my room. He was one of my favorite players. I think, even before Freddie Freeman came up, he was my favorite player. So he was my favorite player for a while before he went to the Yankees, and I was just kind of devastated. I had a jersey of him. Obviously, I've grown out of that jersey. That jersey's long gone now, but he was my favorite player for a while there, and it was definitely hard. But I got through it, and he eventually did come back for one final year. So who knows? Maybe Freddie Freeman will come back to the Braves one day, but for right now, it's just not going to be the same.
Yeah, it'll be weird. It's going to be really weird.
So we'll get through this if you're listening to this. Even though this may seem like the end of the world, it's not. You're going to be okay. The Braves, we may not be okay. We might be okay, but maybe not. But let's hope Alex Anthopoulos really goes after pitching, or obviously we still need an outfielder, especially now that Pache is no longer an option. We have Ozuna, Acuna, who Alex Anthopoulos said would probably be back around late May.
I think we just have breaking news potentially. I think we just re-signed Jock Peterson. Maybe.
What now?
Don't quote me on that.
I haven't seen anything on that.
It's not official, but they're apparently closing in, supposedly. Don't 100% quote me on that. But
so I don't see anything about that. But Draftnik Mark, if you really think that he is a reliable source, he's saying that Freeman to the Jays is a real possibility. I mean, I
would
so.
love. I really that would be the one team like them or the Rays, but I know Stuart Sternberg's not going to pay, so I would love to see him on the Blue Jays.
Amen to that. That would honestly
him and Vladdy.
I would love that. I would hate that, but I would love that.
I know we don't play the Blue Jays next year, do we?
I don't know. I hope we never play the Blue Jays.
It's true. We played them last year when 0-6, so maybe not. But I would love to see Blue Jays make it happen. That way I don't have to deal with him on the Dodgers.
Where the heck did you hear about Jock Peterson?
I don't know. People are just saying crap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not true. Especially if you listen to this like today, tomorrow, next week. Like you're gonna hear that and you're gonna be like, what?
What?
I mean, I'm still just like, what?
Twitter's a mess.
Twitter is a mess, but Twitter is a lot of fun. I think yesterday I kind of broke the news to you that Tom Brady was coming back because I found out from Twitter.
That was.
Twitter is a good place to get some news and rumors from. So,
yeah,
in terms of that, it's pretty fun. And you also get it's a gold mine in the comment section. Like you can find so much good stuff, but that's completely off topic. Freddie Freeman, we're gonna miss you. Come back eventually. We hope. So, but I'm so sad. We're not even going to end the episode on anything special. So
yeah, we can't really.
Unless you want some like sad violin music, but we could. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to end the episode kind of quietly. This episode is brought to you by SeatGeek. So if you want to go get your baseball tickets this year or parking permits, use SeatGeek. Use promo code BravesNews, all lowercase, all one word, on SeatGeek for $20 off your first purchase of $50 or more. Go do it. Save yourself some money and helps me out and helps you out. It's a win-win, unlike this trade today.
Yeah, basically.
So, had to get the SeatGeek ad in there. So,
had to. So until next time, I guess.
DFA Manfred, DFA Liberty Media.
DFA Liberty Media.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Get us to 500. We've been growing a little bit over there, slowly but surely. So
slowly.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Do we have anything else?
Email us.
Everything is in the description if you want to reach out to us. We're always available to talk some baseball. So, my name's David Waters.
And I'm Luke Hardin.
Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you all in the next episode of Talking Braves. See y'all.
Peace, guys.